The City of London is a unique local authority. In terms of the square mile itself, a quite unique environment where we have very modern buildings placed in the main on an old network of narrow streets and in many cases cobbled highways. The city has 7,500 residents, but on a daily basis we get 300 to 400,000 commuters travelling into work in the city. The quality of the built environment and the cleanliness of the streets is absolutely crucial in the city. It's expected by businesses in the city and those people working in the businesses in the city. In addition to that, our residents have very high expectations.
The City of London is at the very heart of London's international business offer, and it's very important that local authorities and strategic authorities that I represent make that offer the best it possibly can, and that includes giving a good street environment and quality of life, and that is addressing what may appear to be a small problem to your average person but isn't, and that is cigarette and gum litter. It really does affect the street scene, and it's fantastic that the city is leading the way in this initiative to address what is a serious problem. Cigarette and gum litter is a problem worldwide, and it's also very expensive to clean up. Ends up on the streets and it's unsightly, but also gets washed into the sewers and into the Thames, and nobody wants a whole pile of cigarette litter floating down the river.
Cigarette litter is a particularly difficult form of litter. It's small. For many people, they don't even see it as litter. But once you start getting a build-up of any form of litter, as that grows and increases, litter attracts litter. The problem grows and grows, and there is a thing called the broken window theory. So an area becomes littered, looks neglected, fear of crime increases, its impacts on health and well-being. So from one small thing, you get problems that are much bigger for society to deal with.
Because the problem of cigarette litter is so huge, not just in the City of London, but around the world, the environmental impact in turn is huge.
The scale of the problem in this country is massive. More than 100 tonnes of cigarette butts are dropped on the floor every day. They are everywhere. There is no escape from cigarette litter.
Well, cigarette litter, whilst being small, is the UK's biggest problem. There's around 3 trillion cigarette butts dropped every year across the globe. Well, having well-maintained and clean environment is vitally important for tourists, for business and those that come into the City of London.
What people see on the city streets are that they're well-maintained and clean and in good order. What they don't see is the vast number of people working behind the scenes to make that happen. We have a depot here at Walbrook Wharf where on a daily basis we're putting out a veritable team of people that are going out and carrying out these cleaning operations. But increasingly, we're under pressure to reduce those costs of those operations. We need to maintain the high standards that we have at present, but find ways of reducing our costs. The city looks seriously at how they might reduce litter on the street. We realised the predominant litter was cigarette-related litter, and we decided to develop an initiative called No Ifs, No Buts. The strategy has 5 key components. The first of those is provision.
We know that when people are given really convenient ways of disposing of their litter, particularly cigarettes, that they do tend to use them. And I think that's a really important thing to realise, is that often people are very willing to do the right thing when they're able to do so.
Firstly, we didn't want to provide the traditional larger litter bin. We found that these litter bins attracted litter, often attracted insects in the summer, and we often got windblown litter from those larger bins. What we wanted was something quite specific, tailor-made to deal with cigarette-related litter, and something that didn't increase our street clutter.
particular challenge was designing a litter bin that would fit any size or shape of lamppost, and there are hundreds of these across the street scene across the UK and in any city worldwide. So it had to be a very versatile design. But the other challenges that were faced were it had to be affordable, it had to deliver cost efficiencies for the council, it had to align a number of interests including street designers, architects, waste cleansing teams, and all of this had to be done in a way that was sustainable so that it would deliver cost efficiencies for the council.
It had to engage the public the way it looked. It had to provide a safe product on the street, so no sharp edges, so I designed it to be rounded and soft and characterful. And it had to work as a working product on the street day in, day out. The design is simple, it's easy to install and it's easy to maintain.
The response to the litter bins from people across the city, smokers across the city, has been really good. On a daily basis, our street cleaners are finding these bins full, and these are butts that would otherwise be left on the streets for us to sweep up and have to clean up. It really speeds up our cleaning operation and is driving efficiencies.
I think it was 4 or 5 years ago in Paris. They make forbidden to smoke inside a bar or a restaurant. And I heard that the pollution of water jumped by 30%, which is something very massive. I would like to see more ashtray in France as well, especially in Paris. So I would like to see this facility over the Europe. But at least I'm proud to live in London for this kind of thing.
Yeah, I think the message is clear to people that you have to do your bit because, I mean, you see signs up all over the place. And again, the convenience out of the bins is just much nicer and much more cleaner. And it's nice to see people doing it rather than throwing it on the floor.
Without doubt, the No Ifs, No Buts initiative has helped a lot in maintaining the cleanliness of the streets in the City of London. Economically, yes, it saves a lot of money. Our sweepers don't have to sweep up as much cigarette butts in the street. With the smart bins, with our campaign, the combination of the two, it's helped immensely.
What we at CPRE call bin infrastructure is effective when there's enough bins in the right places. We know that people are more inclined to use them. What we've seen in the City of London is what they've been able to do is provide enough bins, but in a way that hasn't detracted from the historical and contemporary architecture open spaces that the city enjoys.
The second part of the initiative is engagement. So we're sending out our officers to talk to people on the street, smokers on the street, to explain to them why they shouldn't drop litter and what they should do instead.
I'm a street environment officer working for the City of London. Our role is basically trying to maintain the cleanliness of the streets within the city. We work as a team of 7 street environment officers, and my lead at the moment is currently dealing with smoking-related litter in the city and trying to reduce that. As part of the campaign, obviously the important thing is try to engage with the people, engage with the businesses and the members of the public in the city. I think before the initiatives actually started, people didn't think smoking-related litter was an issue. Since we've engaged with them, since we've been out there on the streets, doing our high-vis campaigns, people are aware of it now and do recognise it as a major problem.
My name's Nigel Farish, I'm a street environment officer, City of London. By dropping a cigarette back to the ground, you commit a littering offence. It does carry an £80 fine. Really? It does, yeah. For a cigarette pack? So it does, sir. On this occasion, though, so what I'll do, I'll provide you...
Part of the initiative, yes, we have employed and we've used mini bin pocket ashtrays, which are basically little small, as the name describes, mini bin pocket ashtrays, and they're reusable. They're very popular amongst all the people who give them to, even amongst tourists who just basically want to keep them because they've got the City of London logo on it. So it's quite attractive and it does get used.
Seal it up, place it into a litter bin when you get to one.
These are reusable?
They are reusable, yes, sir.
Excellent. And the red card?
And the red card also, sir. Please bear in mind that littering is a criminal offence. This is the information card we're actually distributing in the City of London, which details the fixed penalty fine and the fact that it is a criminal offence. Okay? Right. So please bear that in mind, sir. And also in future we have buttons on these posts for disposal cigarettes. Okay, well that's just no fines today? No fines today, sir, just a warning. Okay? Thank you very much, have a good day.
The third element of the initiative is education. So what we're doing here is we're going out, we're talking to businesses, and we're asking businesses to cascade down that education material to their workforce, and also to encourage people to engage with smoking cessation campaigns.
Yeah, we bring an information pack which explains the campaign, and we try to encourage them to actually sign up to what's known as a voluntary code of conduct, which is like a partnership working with us. We ask them what they can do to help us to reduce smoking-related litter. So it's a two-way partnership rather than a one-way thing.
The City of London had a really good direct approach with us. They've engaged with us initially by telephone and has done follow-up educational talks, not just with our members of staff, but also with the tenants in the building. This has helped greatly because we're able to prove that we've got the backing of the City of London, and it's not just coming from us as an initiative of a building management company.
Hello and welcome to the City of London's No Ifs No Buts initiative.
The information that the City of London have given us in the forms of like leaflets, the no smoking campaign information that's sent through electronically has made it a lot easier for us to be able to reach out to many more people.
One of the reasons I think the No Ifs No Buts campaign is particularly good is that it's joining up people and the public service. There has to be a mutual understanding that no one can solve the problem of litter on their own. The council can't do it, the individuals can't do it, businesses can't do it. The only way to do it is to work together. So to provide facilities, to provide education, to make it easy for people to do the right thing, but also to tell people that they need to do the right thing.
Cigarette litter has dropped dramatically. We've noticed a difference with the buildings that we manage through tenant engagement and working closely with them.
The fourth element is enforcement. This is important. If people, despite all our education efforts and despite trying to engage with them, they're still dropping litter on our streets, then we are prepared to issue fixed penalty notices. If at the end of the day we're unable to win over hearts and minds through this partnership approach, we recognise there has to be some teeth.
Obviously, after we've done the educational campaign part of it, unfortunately we do get people who still continue to actually flout the law and litter with their cigarette butts. Hence the reason why we do have to carry out some enforcement action which can result in the issuing of fixed penalty notices. The current fine is £80, which is payable, if it's payable within 10 days, reduced to £50, and then basically that's the end of the matter. It's not taken any further after that. After the fine is handed out, we've engaged now with the health service, and basically we're trying to encourage people to take up smoker cessation services. That way, if they do take up a service like that, the fine's waived. So the whole idea is basically try to get them to actually reduce or quit smoking altogether.
Enforcement is a key part of any campaign around litter, particularly smoking-related litter. But unfortunately, on its own, it doesn't work. You have to educate people first, particularly smokers. Smokers, as I said, don't see smoking-related litter as litter. So first job is to educate them. But then absolutely there is a role for enforcement, because once you've educated people, if they continue to do a behaviour that we perceive to be socially unacceptable, then enforcement is a logical conclusion.
The fifth element is partnership and recognition. This involves getting businesses to sign up to a Clean City Charter, and we also recognise those businesses by an annual awards ceremony, which the Lord Mayor of London distributes awards to those businesses that have done the best in terms of complying with our initiative.
Yeah, in the city, a lot of the businesses are very keen on getting awards, mainly the Clean City Awards. It's quite a prestigious award, which a lot of the businesses in the city aim for.
The City of London, as a way of recognising businesses who have helped them with their campaign, nominate people for the Clean City of London Awards, of which we've been fortunate to have won 3 gold awards this year for. It's important to get that recognition, not just for ourselves, to have the kudos that we've worked hard in conjunction with the City of London, but also it enables the landlords and owners of buildings to have been recognised, the building management company who work on behalf of those landlords and owners, but also for the tenants who reside in the buildings. They're able to have documentation to say that they are working in a clean environment.
One of the reasons I think the No Ifs No Buts campaign is particularly good is that it's joining up people and the public service. There has to be a mutual understanding that no one can solve the problem of litter on their own. The council can't do it, the individuals can't do it, businesses can't do it. The only way to do it is to work together. So to provide facilities, to provide education, to make it easy for people to do the right thing, but also to tell people that they need to do the right thing.
In terms of the future of this project, I want to see us expand this across the city. We've already got a number of businesses working with us, but we now need to get this further expanded completely across the square mile. What that means is that we're going to be looking to install more of these bins, working with businesses as to where they're located, and also issuing more of the mini ashtrays so that we get all of the individuals in those businesses taking accountability for their litter.
No Ifs No Buts campaign is a new and innovative way of trying to change behaviour that is unsustainable in the long term. Litter is a global problem. It requires solutions that can be rolled out across the world to tackle the mountains of rubbish that we're sending to landfill every year. Simple campaigns, effectively delivered, like the No Ifs No Buts campaign, are key.
The reason why the City of London's campaign is so important is the problem isn't going away and it's only going to get bigger. So what I really hope to see is that other councils, both in the UK and around the world, will learn from what the City of London have done and replicate similar campaigns in other cities.
Keep Britain Tidy is delighted to support and encourage others to follow the example of the City of London and the No Ifs No Buts campaign. It's clearly a campaign that's making a difference, and that has to be a good thing for everybody.
I really commend this scheme as something that can be a great initiative that will have a great impact worldwide in other cities.
We've had decades of public information campaigns to try and reduce people's littering. But it's great to see the City of London has come up with a genuinely innovative scheme to address cigarette and gum litter, which are a serious problem in any city around the world. And it's having real success, and I think it's definitely worth other places in the world to take a leaf out of this book and take it up themselves.